Now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, police are investigating multiple shootings across the metro from Arvada to Denver. Now CU experts are weighing in on the impact of gun violence on our health.
And it's time to head back to the polls. It's primary day in Colorado. We're breaking down what you need to know before you cast your vote.
And oh boy, after 21 years, the Stanley Cup is finally home. Big cheers for the Avs after they touched down at DIA. Now the city is preparing to give the team and fans a party to remember in just 2 days. Good morning and thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Jason Grenauer.
And I'm Jessica Crawford. We've got warm and dry conditions across the metro today. Meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo is here. And Lisa, the forecast also, looking ahead to the parade, looking good for that too.
It does, yeah. That morning, it's going to be warm. I'll show you that here coming up in just a bit. Today, though, we are focused on more of a summer-like pattern. Beautiful this morning. You are going to find some really bright conditions, though, for the eastbound drive. Lots of sunshine early on. Skies have cleared statewide, and we're going to see some much drier weather today. Low 60s in Denver, winds southwest at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, and a big warm up in store. By about 11 o'clock, we're already going to see mid 80s. We'll get into the low to mid 90s by this afternoon. So we'll be well above normal today. Boulder 91, Parker near 90, Erie 92, 70s for the mountains. Now coming up here in a few minutes, we are tracking, unfortunately, some air quality concerns, and it's a little smoky out there. Jason, maybe from that fire, that transformer fire there in Inglewood.
Yeah, maybe. Or there's wildfires around. I don't,
I'm tracking it. Don't you worry.
Oh yeah, no, Lisa's all over this. Like orange on a Cheeto. She's where it gets sticky on your fingers.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, let's continue. We right now have a good drive coming in from Lakewood. You can see it here at Sims Union. That's the eastbound and westbound side. Gorgeous sunrise for us here this morning, but no problems in from Lakewood. Take a look at the drive on I-25. Yesterday, the southbound side has all messed up with several problems. Right now, it looks good. Express lanes, and there goes that motorcyclist looking just fine. And you can see the drive times reflect that. No lingering construction that I can see right now on I-70 through that lowered section, and really a good drive just about anywhere you want to go. Now, the drive time to or from the airport looks just fine, but the security wait time is anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes.
To some breaking news now, Arvada police say a suspect was taken to the hospital after a shooting involving one of its officers. You're looking at video of the scene from earlier this morning, just east of Wadsworth on West 61st Avenue. We're working to learn more about what led up to that shooting. Police say there's no danger to the public and no officers were hurt.
Denver and Aurora police are investigating several shootings since yesterday afternoon. We mapped out where Denver officers responded to 4 different shootings across the city. Investigators say one person was shot at each scene. Aurora police are investigating a triple shooting at City Park. 2 men and 1 woman were shot. All of the victims are expected to recover. There's no word yet of arrests. The public health impacts of gun violence is the topic of a conference today featuring experts from CU Boulder and CU Anschutz Medical Campus. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live with what they're going to discuss. Christian?
Yeah, Uvalde, Buffalo, and since then there have been several more shootings. Just this past weekend, there were 10 mass shootings nationwide, and just like everyone else, faculty at CU Boulder is heartbroken and angered by all of this violence, so they wanted to do something to help. So they are putting together a webinar that will take place this afternoon at 5 p.m. And what this will do, it bring together experts in child psychology, emergency treatment, faculty from the Center for Study of Violence and Prevention, and Institute on Health and Wellness. And they'll all be sharing their research and findings to help the community understand the mental health impacts that can lead to gun violence and ways to help prevent it. And CU Boulder's Chancellor Phil DeStefano told me that years ago, after the Columbine shooting, the director for the university's Center for the Study and Prevention of Violence actually visited every high school in Colorado to talk about gun violence prevention and help the campuses adopt the best practices. He says his biggest goal with this webinar is education.
I believe we have a responsibility to share research in areas of gun violence, safety, mental health, and wellness with members of our community, whether they're in Colorado or across the country, across the world. Secondly, this is not a debate, and this is a way of the university using those research findings, what we're known for as a major research university, in getting information out to the public, because gun violence, as you know, has really impacted all of us especially the last couple of years.
And this webinar is open to anyone. It will be at 5 p.m. today. They'll also have a question and answer segment, and you can find a link on the university's website. Reporting live this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Christian, thank you. It's primary day in Colorado. Polls open in just under 2 hours. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta is outside one of the sites at the Wellington Webb building in downtown Denver with what you need to know before you cast your vote.
Well, today is your last day to get that vote in. First off, some of these polling locations, they open in just a few hours, and one of those right here behind me at the Wellington Webb building. So if you're wondering this morning, you still need to cast that vote and you have a few questions, here's exactly what you need to know. First off, you have 12 hours total to be able to get that vote in. Some of these polling locations, like Jessica just mentioned, they open at 7 this morning, and then as long as you're in line by 7 p.m., you'll be able to cast that vote and get it in. If you're not registered to vote in Colorado, you can register today and then cast your vote today as well. There are some major races on that ballot to remember, everything from U.S. Senate to Congress to those state seats. But one of the big questions is who's going to take on Governor Jared Polis come November. Republicans Heidi Ganal and Greg Lopez, they're both vying for that spot. And Denver 7 spoke with both of them this month. Listen to what they said would be their priority should they get to take on the governor and then potentially that big job.
What I hear around the state is folks are really upset and frustrated about government overreach, whether it's taxes, fees, regulations, moving industries out of Colorado like the energy industry. We need to make sure that we trust the people of Colorado to make good decisions for themselves and their businesses, their families, their kids, first and foremost. And that's what I call the Colorado way of life. I think that's my first priority.
Crime is really a big issue here in the state of Colorado because it impacts families. It impacts our quality of life. And so we need to make sure that we give back qualified immunity to the police officers, that we figure out a way where we can be tough on crime once again, because I think that's really what's tearing apart our community fabric.
And if this morning you're looking for that exact spot where you can cast your vote, all you need to do is go to your county election supervisor's website. You should be able to find that on there. If you're in Denver, all you need to do is go to denvergov.org. It'll fill out some sites for you where you can cast that vote. It'll even give you wait times as well. We're live in Denver this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Polls open at 7 a.m. and they close at 7 p.m. We'll have coverage throughout the day on air and streaming over Denver 7 Plus.
New fallout from the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. More than a dozen states had so-called trigger laws in place to immediately ban or limit abortion when Roe was overturned. Now judges in 2 of those states, Utah and Louisiana, have temporarily blocked the trigger law from taking effect, saying the states are unprepared for such a significant change. The judges granted temporary restraining orders requested by abortion rights activists, allowing more time for the court to hear challenges. Now, pharmacies nationwide are placing limits on the emergency contraceptive known as Plan B. The over-the-counter drug is different than the abortion pill prescribed by doctors. According to the Wall Street Journal, CVS is limiting customers to 3 pills. Walmart is capping sales at 4 to 6. Walgreens does not have a purchase limit in place. Hundreds of people gathered at the state capitol last night to rally in support of abortion rights. The procedure is protected in Colorado, and demonstrators say they're speaking for other women across the country. Now, 2 state lawmakers are filing a bill to further protect Colorado abortion providers. Now, those details haven't been finalized. The bill could include securing business licenses for abortion providers or helping out-of-state providers transfer here to Colorado. The medical director for the Boulder Valley Women's Health Center says that legislation is needed.
It's scary to me to look at some of the states where it is illegal or where it's going to be very restricted, and looking at what they're trying to do to providers in terms of, imposing penalties that are financial or even, going to prison, losing your license.
The future of the bill will likely depend on the outcome of the November election, when Republicans have a chance to regain control of the state Senate.
There's a sight Avs fans have been waiting 21 years to see. Gabe Landeskog lifts the Stanley Cup above his head as he and the rest of the Avs return to Denver as champions. And Thursday, the Avs will be giving the cup a tour around town during their victory parade. The parade starts at 10, but fans are encouraged to arrive a lot earlier. It starts at Union Station and ends at Civic Center Park with a big celebration and speeches. The team and the Stanley Cup will wind down at 17th Street and Broadway. The city is expecting hundreds of thousands of people to pack into downtown Thursday. That means there will be a lot of foot traffic for businesses along the route. We spoke with the owners of Tea with Tay on the 16th Street Mall.
It's helping bring people back downtown, especially having such a huge win in the sports community. It just helps build the whole downtown community.
The business is one of a handful of pop-ups the city hopes to make permanent to revitalize the mall. Denver 7 is your home for the Stanley Cup Parade. We're partnering with Altitude Sports for the most comprehensive coverage of the parade. Our pre-parade coverage starts at 4:30 a.m. Our parade show will begin at 9:30.
I am already excited. Some good news for our state's national parks, the big boost in business this past year and how it's helping our economy.
And firing up the grill might put the heat on your wallet this 4th of July. What cookout staples have gotten more expensive in the past year?